Fun fact, since the launch of Pepsi in 1898, there has been an ongoing rivalry between Pepsi and Coca-Cola. It's more than 100 years of petty commercials, comebacks, burns. But if you think that is excessive, let me tell you about an even crazier rivalry. Because this video is obviously not about soda. Okay, it's gonna be about the rivalry of Jacob and Esau, which lasted hundreds and hundreds of years. So let's talk about what happened in Genesis 36. Previously, we talked about Jacob leaving Shechem, going through Bethel, and all that. But during his journey, some very weird things happened. And I'm just going to go over them because they might be important later. Jacob's favorite wife, it sounds messed up, but it made sense here. Jacob's favorite wife, Rachel, dies, giving birth to Jacob's youngest son, Benjamin. So that's one tragic thing. Then Jacob finds out that his eldest son, Reuben, has been sleeping with one of his concubines.
Brother.
So he's disowned. But continuing with the story that I want to get to, Jacob finally makes it to his father's land. But shortly after Isaac dies, and as we had talked about previously, Jacob and Esau, they had made up already. So for a while, they lived in their dad's land. They were living together until they were too numerous. Both families were huge.
Grande.
They couldn't fit in the same location. The land just couldn't hold them all. So something important happens. The Bible specifies that Esau is the one that decides to move out. This is important because he was basically saying, I'm going to leave. You, Jacob, can stay in our dad's property. He was basically accepting the fact that Jacob was the rightful owner now of this territory. Remember, Jacob's the youngest. He shouldn't be the one inheriting this. But God had a plan, and it involved Jacob taking over the promise that had been given to Isaac. So things start falling into place. And then the Bible details Esau's descendants, which become a large nation named Edom, with clans, kings, and a lot of power. The point is that Esau's family becomes a sworn enemy of the nation of Israel for years to come. Now this is crazy because the rivalry between Jacob and Esau began in their mother's womb since Genesis 25:22, where they were fighting inside their mom. But now they would wage war on each other. Even the book of Samuel mentions King Saul going and fighting against this nation of Edom. Because since the beginning, Esau was the twin that wasn't exactly doing what God wanted him to be doing. He had married Hittite women, which was not what God ordered. He specifically said not to do that. He exchanged his birthright for food. Come on, why would he do that? And he was so angry that he threatened to murder his brother. And Jacob was always the opposite of his brother. I'm not saying he was perfect. He was just like more receptive of God's instructions usually. And it's interesting to me how although these brothers had finally made up, God separated them either way. Not only geographically, but their destinies were also very different. So that's basically the summary of Genesis 36. This is a very big trait of God. He likes things organized and like separated in an orderly fashion.
I have a system. There's a place for everything in its place.
If you look at the creation, there's a whole section on how he separates the sky and the water, each animal with their own. He's just organized like that. And sometimes we push against that order he has for us. We try to fit in with the wrong people, and although it's fine to get along with everyone, not everyone will share the same purpose as you. God's plan can be very different for you than for someone else. Jacob and Esau go their separate ways. Both couldn't be living together, not only because their families were too big, but because God had two very different purposes for each of them. Because they were like water and oil, like day and night. Like Pepsi and Coca-Cola. Hey, you see what I did there? I circle back. Okay, I'll see you guys next time.